trial starter pack, the one that says kertas 1 over here, and if you really want to know, this is kertas model 1 lah. Okay, some of you may have this book, okay, but doesn't matter lah, we're going to do this anyway. All right, so just to remind you, okay, that in paper 1, okay, in paper 1, there are 2 sections in paper 1. Okay, you have to answer all questions in paper 1 and only 2 questions in, in section A, you have to answer all questions. Okay, and in section B, you only need to answer 2 questions. There are 3 questions in section B, and you only need to answer 2. Of course, if you will answer everything, you're more than welcome to do so. According to this paper, there are 12 questions in paper 1. In section A. Okay, 12 questions in section A and 3 questions in section B. Okay, and you're only required to answer 2. Okay, as of now, we don't know whether the section B dia ada soalan daripada bab-bab tertentu. We don't know. Okay, so we have to assume the worst, which is it can come out from any chapter possible. Okay, so please make no assumption. The only assumption that is safe to make is the paper 2 section C question. That's the only thing that you can safely assume. Paper 2 section C will be only from the last 2 chapters in Form 4 and the last 2 chapters in Form 5, which we are not doing lah. So you have no choice. You have to do the last 2 chapters in Form 4, at least for your trials. Okay, so kita memang tidak cover yang Form 5. Okay, so be aware of this. Okay, half, again lah, as I said, half the battle is knowing what you are fighting against. Okay, in section A, you have 12 questions. In section B, you have to answer 2 questions. So this is altogether 14 questions in the span of 2 hours. Okay, it is much easier compared to before. Before was 25 questions in 2 hours. Okay, now it's just 14 questions. So you have actually more time to answer these questions lah. Okay, although each question dia ada pecahan A dan B lah. Okay, there are more this one, but it's pretty much the same. All right, let's go to this. Find the range of values of x for 3 plus 4 equal more than this one. Okay, when we talk about range of values, okay, so the first note lah. Okay, when we talk about range of values, okay, for a quadratic inequality. Okay, when you talk about range of values for quadratic inequality, okay, we are talking about you have to draw this graph, okay, and then you either shade down here or you draw this graph and you shade up here. Okay, let's say this is point A and this is point B, this is point A and this is point B. Okay, different places of shading will give you different types of answers. Okay, this one will be the equation is less than 0, less or equal to 0. This one will be the equation is more or equals to 0. So you look at the equation. If the equation is less than 0, you shade here at the black region. If the equation is more than 0, then you shade here on the 2 sides. Okay, if it helps, okay, your face will tell you less than 0, okay, more than 0. Where is 0? 0 is where your mouth is. Okay, your mouth should be closed all the time. Okay, so 0 is here. So more than 0, less than 0. Okay, that's where you shade. Now, if it is less than 0, then the answer is always an in-between answer. Okay, so the answer will be x is between A and B. Okay, less than 0. Between A and B. Okay, this whole thing is between A and B. Okay, if it is more than 0, because it is your 2 cheeks, right? So it's separated. So if it's separated, then your answer will be x is less than A and x is more than B. Ini tidak boleh salah arah. Okay, and very easy to remember because tangan kiri is less, tangan kanan is more. Okay, less than left, more than right. Remember that. Less than left, more than right. Tetapi kalau equationnya adalah lebih daripada sifar. If it is less than 0, it's right here. Right here is in between. Okay, less. Itu saja. Tiada more itu. There's no such thing as x is more than B and more than A. Ini apa ini? Okay, tidak ada, no such thing. Okay, so erase that from your mind. All right, now let's go into the question. So the question says, blah, 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 equal more or equals to blah, 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 blah. First thing you need to do, okay, is to make it more or less than 0. Okay, we have to simplify it. Okay, I'm going to change screen. Can somebody please read the question out for me so that I can copy this down?
3 plus 4x
3 plus 4x
in the bracket x plus 2 is more than or equal to negative 3 in the bracket x minus 2.
Okay, all right, thank you. So we want to find this one, right? Okay, first things first. Whenever you have a quadratic equation or quadratic inequality, kalau kita mau EQN pun, kita mesti pastikan sebelah adalah sama dengan kosong. That's what we need to do first. Always, always, always. So, the first thing we'll do is multiply this in lah. So, 3 plus 4x squared plus 8x is more than negative 3x plus 6. Okay, then we bring everything to one side. So, you will get 3 plus 4x squared plus 8x plus 3x minus 6 is more than 0. Okay, when we simplify this, we will get 4x squared plus 11x minus 3 is more or equals to 0. Now, at this point, you will already know what to do. Okay, when you EQN, what will you get?
1 over 4 and negative 3.
Okay, x equals to 1 over 4 and x equals to negative 3. Now, this one, okay, as I said, this one, you have to definitely show. Okay, so this will be 4x minus 1 and x plus 3. 1 over 4 and negative 3, right, Sean? That's what you say, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so x is 1 over 4 and x is negative 3. Okay, this one must be shown. Okay, ini wajib. I need to see the two brackets. I don't have to see this, but I need to see the two brackets. That's very important. But this is very important for us. Okay, this is very important for us because after this, the next step, which is the compulsory step, is you need to draw one of these two graphs. Okay, so let's put the two x values in there. Okay, 1 over 4 and negative 3, because negative 3 is the smaller value, so negative 3 is on the left, 1 over 4 is on the right. Okay, this one is very normal. Now, remember what I said earlier? I said if the equation is more than 0, then you shade the side. Okay, kamu lorik sebelah sini. Look at the equation. It is more than 0. So we are talking about shading this side. Okay, and when you shade this side, your answer will be, okay, your answer will be, we follow this, okay, less than the left, more than the right. So your answer will be x is less than negative 3 and x is more than 1 over 4. So have to sketch the graph. Actually, in the exam, no need, but Marcus say must. Okay, yeah. When Mr. Marcus is your LMS teacher, Mr. Marcus always gives you all these weird rules. Okay, like, yes, I want you to draw the graph. The reason why I say this is because maybe at the Form 5 level, this graph is actually not very important. But when you go into higher level, Form 6 or even like engineering courses, this becomes very important. It becomes very important for you to visualize it first. Okay, so it's not important for your exam, but it's important for what happens after you get out of high school. And that's why saya tekankan benda inilah. Okay, I want you to draw the graph. Okay, so this is our final answer. Now, one thing I have to mention, which I did not mention before, is that this only works. Okay, this only works. There is a condition for this. You cannot just simply draw like this. This only works, okay, if the x squared is positive. Okay, if the x squared is positive, okay, then this is the way we do it. Okay, we draw a U-shaped graph. Okay, so kebetulan di sini kita punya x squared adalah a positive number. What happens If let's say you do, and then you get something like this, negative x squared plus 2x minus 3. Sorry, fine lah, okay, is less than 0. What happens if your x is a negative? Okay, so what you do is you have to make it positive, because I only want, well, those of you that understand this at the further level, you can actually, you know what graph to draw. But if you want to maintain with this, you change it to positive. So what you do is you x squared minus 2x plus 3, and you change this direction. Okay, so important thing to note lah, changing sign equals to changing direction. Very, very important thing when you're answering this graph. A couple of rules that you have to remember lah. Okay, if you want to use this method, and I would say use this method because this is the method that is most frequently used. Okay, when you draw the graph, you need to make sure that the x squared, okay, the x squared, the number in front of the x squared is positive. Then you just need to draw a U-shaped graph and know which side to locate. Okay, so recap, make sure the x squared is positive. Draw the U-shaped graph. Okay, determine which side to locate. If the equation is less than 0, okay, sorry, in this case it's not like, if the equation is more than 0, then you locate the two sides. Because when you locate the two sides, you will get the two answers. Okay, one of the biggest reasons why I emphasize this is because this is a very common mistake, and I see people do this. Okay, ranging from the people that are very terror and also to the people that are not terror, will always do this. You know what they will do? They will not draw the graph, and then they will say, oh, okay, 4x minus 1 is more than 0. So x is more than 1 over 4. Okay, so far so good lah. But x plus 3 is more than 0. So x is more than negative 3. And this is where the discrepancy happens. Okay, so separate yourself from the quadratic equations method and the quadratic inequalities method. The quadratic inequalities method, well, I can spend 15 minutes just to answer one question, but this is revision lah, okay? Quadratic inequalities method requires a different approach. Bukan sama dengan, adakah sama dengan kurang dan sama dengan ni benda yang sama? Of course it's not the same. So if it is not the same, why would why would you do the same method for a different thing? Okay, different things require different methods, and it is your job to know which method is used to do the correct thing. Okay, so be very, very careful with this. I see this too often, and when I see this, I usually get very annoyed lah, because banyak kali sudah saya cakap tapi dia masih lagi tidak ingat. Okay, so please avoid that situation, everybody. Okay, in an inequality, we cannot use the equation method. We have to use this method. Okay, and again, I emphasize drawing the graph. Very important. Okay, let's go back to the question now. Now, given that the quadratic function fx equals to x squared plus 6x minus 3, okay, can be expressed in the form of this. Okay, change this to become this. Anybody know? How do you do that? Do you remember?
Completing square.
Okay, completing the square. Okay, so let's talk about completing the square. Next page. Hey, okay, next page. Let's talk about completing the square. Okay. Usually, guys, usually in completing the square to find the minimum or maximum value. Okay. Usually when I do revision, I need to mention this lah. Usually when I do revision, it's very, very slow because I explain everything from the beginning. So the revision lah, bukan sekadar menjawab soalan. Okay, it's revision, so we have to review back all the steps that we have done. But okay, having said that, if I have already revised with you how to do these quadratic inequalities, I'm not going to say it again lah. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, so again, the same thing, completing the square. But if you already know how to do completing the square and you want to wait for me to answer another question, you can go ahead and answer the rest lah. Okay, but if you're following this, revision session, follow as closely as you can. Okay, and try to copy lah. Okay, completing the square. Completing the square is changing this, okay, to become this. Okay, so this is the completing the square method. So it's like transforming one equation to another equation, but the graph is still the same. The function is still the same. It just changed shape only. Okay, and the reason why we do that is because this form of the function only tells us two things. It only tells us the shape of the graph, okay, and the y-intercept. Itu saja dia boleh bagi tahu dengan kita. Okay, that's the only information we can get. But this one, after you complete the square, what this information tells us is, number one, it tells us the shape of the graph. Okay, number two, it tells us the minimum or the maximum value of the graph. Okay, and what do I mean by this lah? Y-intercept lah, minimum, maximum value. Mari kita lukis. If this is a graph, okay, and let's say this is this one lah. Okay, so this is a U shape. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't say U shape lah kan, because Form 5 sudah kan. So this is a minimum shape. Okay, the graph is a minimum shape and sorry, I shouldn't have drawn it like this. You know what? Let me rewind and draw this again. This is not a very good graph to use. Okay, sorry. Okay, so let's say this is my axis. Okay, so this is a minimum shape graph. Okay, minimum shape, and when I say that it only tells us the y-intercept, this is the y-intercept, C. Okay, manakala, if I have it in this one, okay, after the pink color form, the completing the square form, it not just tells us the shape of the graph, but it also tells me what is this coordinate, okay, which is negative P and Q. Okay, the letter P and the letter Q over here tells me what is the minimum and the maximum graph. So that's the difference between the two forms of equations. They give you different forms of information. Okay, and likewise, okay, with the maximum graph, okay, so the maximum graph will look like this, lah maybe. Okay, again, this is the y-intercept, C, okay, and it also tells us the negative P and Q. Okay, so this is a maximum shape. Okay, the maximum shape is when A is less than 1. Oh, no, sorry. It's not 1, it's 0, right? Yeah. Okay, less than 0. And this is A is more than 0. So if A is a positive number, then you get a minimum shape. If A is a negative number, okay, then you get a maximum shape graph. So the equation is there not just for fun, It actually tells you bits and pieces of information. Okay, dia ada maksud lah. Setiap nombor di sini A, B, and C, A, P, and Q, bahkan setiap satu nombor ni ada maksud itu. It's not just there to make your life difficult. It's actually there to make your life easier. Just that you haven't seen how it makes your life easier. Okay, can somebody please read for me the function again?
X squared plus 6x minus 3.
Fx equals to x squared plus 6x minus 3. How do we do completing the square? First things first, step number 1. Make sure A equals to 1. Okay, 1. Not negative 1, not 2, not negative 2, but 1. You can only do that If you can only do completing the square if it is 1. Okay, so the question is, in this question, A is 1 lah, so tiada masalah. But what if A is not 1? Okay, so this is what we do. Okay, if A is not 1, then factorize by dividing equation with A. Okay, for example, if let's say your fx equals to negative 2x squared plus 4x minus 3. Okay, let's say this is, so our A is obviously not 1 kan, A adalah negative 2. So what do? You take out the negative 2 and you divide everything by negative 2. So this becomes x squared. Positive 4 divided by negative 2 will be minus 2x and plus 3 over 2. Okay, so this is what you do if the A is not 1. You take out the negative 2, okay, so that kalau kamu lihat di sini, okay, this has become A equals to 1. Okay, but for this question, our A is 1 already, so no problem lah. Okay, now the next step, the next step after that, okay, is to find the completer of the square. Okay, find the completer of the square. So this will be half, okay, setengah per kali x kuasa 2. Half times the coefficient of x, the whole thing squared. Okay, so what is a coefficient? Coefficient is a number that is stuck together with the letter lah. Okay, so the coefficient of x, x, not x squared. The coefficient of x is the number that is stuck with x, which is 6. Okay, so the completing the square will be 6 over 2, the whole thing squared. And half times 6 lah, which is 6 over 2, or instead of 6 over 2, you can just say it's 3 squared lah. Okay, I'm going to put it in bracket for a reason. Okay, step number 3. Okay, after that, add and subtract. Okay, the CTS. Okay, so you add and you subtract the CTS, okay, into the equation, and this is what you will get. I need to change color again. Okay, so fx equals to x squared plus 6x. Okay, then you stop here. Then you add, okay, plus 3 squared minus 3 squared. Okay, and then minus 3. So this is what we do. Okay, completing the square. You find this, complete the square, and then you add it and you subtract it, okay, into the original equation. Okay, why do we do this? Okay, that is something that you should have asked me in Form 4. Okay, cannot ask me now. I'm just telling you the steps. This is what you need to do. So just do it. Okay. Then after that, okay, what you do, 4th step. Okay, 4th step is sandwich. Okay, sandwich the squares. The squares. Okay, so what do you do is, the first 2 squares are the ones that you sandwich, which is this and this. And since it is positive, so it will be x plus 3 squared. Okay, and so obviously the question that everybody always asks me after this is, Sir, itu 6x pergi mana? Okay, actually the 6x didn't hilang. Think about it now. Okay, if the 6x was there, okay, let's take a look at this. Let's square this lah. X plus 3 squared equals to x squared plus 6x plus 3 squared. Correct or not? And 3 squared is 9 lah. I know. But I'm leaving it as a square so that I can bring it together and sandwich it in the middle. And why this one? If do like this, right? Why you never ask me, how come tiba-tiba ada 6x? Nobody asked, because you already know how to do it. No, we're just flipping it the other way around. Okay, so you shouldn't be asking, itu 6x hilang pergi mana? Sebenarnya dia tidak hilang, dia termasuk balik di dalam the sandwich. Okay, macam cheese sandwich lah kan. You have the bread here, you have the bread here. Can you see the cheese? No, you can't see the cheese. But you can definitely taste the cheese. Okay, so begitulah itu ceritanya. Okay, the 6x has become a cheese and the two breads are the x and the 3. Okay, let's continue. So you have minus 3 squared, which is 9 minus 3. So you get x plus 3 squared minus 12. Okay, and that answers our question. Change the ax plus p plus q into this. Okay, so what is a? A is 1, p is 3, q is negative 12. Okay, according to our question, I hope I am getting the right question. Find the value of p and q. Yeah. Okay, so p, as you have seen, okay, p is 3 and q is negative 12. So you do it by completing the square, then you compare. Oh dear. Okay, then state the minimum value. State the minimum value is really no problem already, because if you have seen this one, the P and the Q, the values of P and the Q tell you what is the minimum value. Right? The minimum value is the P kasih negative. Okay, the P kasih tukar tanda, the Q kasih kekal. So if P is equals to 3 and Q is equals to negative 12, okay, the minimum value is negative 12. When, oh no, why is it a star? Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened. Okay, negative 12 when P equals to negative 3. Okay. So when they ask for the value of the minimum, you give them the y coordinate, but you also have to give them the x coordinate when p equals to negative 3. Salah satu lagi variasi ya, another variation of this question is give the coordinates of the minimum value. Okay, if they ask you to give the coordinates, then it will be negative 3 and negative 12. Okay, but if they say give the minimum value is always the y coordinate. Tetapi kamu mesti menyatakan nilai x yang sepadan when p equals to negative 3. Sorry, when x equals to negative 3. Coordinate x is negative 3. Okay, because the coordinate here is negative 3, negative 12. Okay, and why wow? Okay, but the one thing is this lah, sir, kenapa ini P sama dengan 3, ini X tambah 3 bahkan, kenapa dia tiba-tiba jadi negatif? Okay, the simple explanation, the simple and not so long-winded explanation is, dia akan minimum kalau X tambah 3 sama dengan 0. Okay, and that's why you get X equals to negative 3. Okay, minimum when the whatever is in the bracket is equals to 0. That's why dia akan tertukar tanda. Okay, if you don't remember that, it's okay. Just remember that the x coordinate has to change sign, the y coordinate doesn't change sign. Kalau dia negatif lah. Kalau dia positif lah. Okay, and any equation in the completed the square can tell you these two pieces of information. For example, if I give you an equation, negative 2x minus 3 squared plus 4. You can tell me two things immediately. Is it a minimum or maximum graph? Okay, this one tells us it's a maximum graph. Secondly, you can tell me what is the maximum coordinate ini. Okay, it will be 3 and 4. Bukan negative 3. You just change the sign. Okay, here's another one. Fx equals to 2. Okay, x plus 4 squared minus 12. Okay, minimum or maximum? Definitely minimum, because this is a positive number. Okay, and what is the minimum coordinate? Negative 4 and, negative 12. Kenapa negative 12? Sebab sini tolak. Okay, kalau sini tambah, then you put tambah 4. So when you understand, okay, when you understand, and I hope that you understand this as quick as you can. When you understand that the same equation, okay, when you change it, it tells you different bits of information. Okay, and that's how we learn to sketch the graph, which is I don't know whether you can, I don't know whether we have time to do this. Okay. Different forms of the same equation give you different pieces of information. And that information is very useful to us bila kamu mau melukis graph. Okay, let's go to question number 2. My God, 1 hour for one question. Okay, right angle triangle, find the value of x, give your answer to the correct 4 decimal places. How would you do this, everybody? Whenever you see right angle triangle, what must you think of?
Pythagoras.
Okay, so this Pythagoras theorem, I'm going to write this over here. If it is Pythagoras theorem, it will be x plus 5 squared equals to x minus 2 squared plus 2x minus 3 squared. Okay, so when you do, how do you find the value of x? What is the step that it needs to be involved here? Apalagi kalau dia 4 decimal places, kau tahu sudah ini, come on.
You use the formula to find x.
Okay, you either use the formula, okay, or you can't factorize because it's 4 decimal places, so you have to use the formula. Okay, case macam ini guys, case macam ini you have to show me the formula. Okay, you cannot just EQN and then give me the answer. I will immediately give you a 0. Okay, because you're just using a calculator. No, cannot. Okay, you have to show me the formula. You don't have to calculate it. You just make sure that you substitute it correctly. Okay, because after that you can use EQN to find the answer. Make sure, everybody, that you use the formula that is useless after form 5. X equals to minus b plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, memorize this formula by heart. Okay, very, very important. Okay, once you have the value of x, then you can find the perimeter and you can find the area lah. That's quite easy lah. Okay, perimeter is just tambah semua, and then the area is just tambah semua. Okay, you will get x equals to 6.9327 and negative 0.4327. But this one reject. Okay, why? Why do we reject? Okay, please tell me this. B is 27.73 and C is 26.8. Okay, there's a reason kenapa ini nombor negatif ini kita kasih reject. And hold on. Yeah, okay. There's a reason why we reject the negative number, and you don't have to say why. You just have to say reject Okay, but I hope that you know why we reject the value of x equals to negative 0.4327. Okay, all right. Question number 3, and I think this will probably be the last one for the day. So sad, 1 hour, 3 questions only. So revision class is the longest in the world. Okay, simplify. 3 over square root 7 minus 4. Okay, this is a third form. What is it called already? Rationalizing the, we have to rationalize makan. Okay, so it will be 3 over square root 7 minus 4 multiplied by square root 7 plus 4 over square root 7 plus 4. Okay, we learned this at the end of last year. I don't know whether you remember this. Okay, but this is rationalizing the third lah. Okay, so once you've done this, okay, you can continue and you will get square root 7 plus 4 over 3. Okay, this is the final answer. I'm just showing you the rationalizing lah. Okay, remember guys, rationalizing the symbol, the sign over here must be different. Okay, kalau di sini negative, di sini in the rationalizer, you must be positive. If inside the original equation is positive, then in the rationalizer it will be negative. Okay, now Simplify log 3, 4.5 and log 3, 2. So log 3, 4.5 plus log 3, 2. Okay. The important thing is that both are the same base. Dua-dua same base. So if it is the same base and plus, you can bring it together and it becomes multiplied. So log 3, 4.5 times 2. Okay, I think this is a good time to recap again the logarithm laws. Okay, the laws of logarithm. There are how many? 3 laws, right? Okay, number 1, log AB. Oh, sorry, log A. Sorry, my bad. Log CA times B, okay, equals to log CA plus log CB. And again, be very fluid with this. Okay, it works both ways. Secondly, log CA over B equals to log CA minus log CB. And the third one is log CA to the power of n. Okay, you bring the power forward. So n log CA. A few things to recap. Number 1, log AA equals to 1. Okay, any number with the same base is always equals to 1. But log A1 equals to 0. Okay, log A1 equals to 0. Two very important things to remember. And then, of course, the last one is changing log. Okay, when you want to change base, let's say you have log AB, you want to change the base C. So log CB over log CA. Okay, all these are important logarithm laws which you learned, which I hope you remember. But if you don't, then this is where we revise lah. Okay, just take note that the first two, make sure base is the same. This is the important thing. Okay, pastikan the base is the same. Then only you can, you can move it between one and the other. It cannot be changing. Okay, so when we do this, oh no, hold on. Okay, never mind. We're gonna get, this one will give us 2, I think. Yeah. Okay, this one will give us 2. You need to do this lah. Okay, log 3, 9. Okay, 9 sebenarnya adalah 3 kuasa 2. So log 3, 3 squared. Bring the 2 forward. So 2 log 3, 3. Same base, same number. So you get 2 times 1 equals to 2. Okay, comes with practice lah, everybody. It comes with practice. The more times you do log, the easier it will become. I don't know why my screen has disappeared like that. So strange. Maybe it's a sign. Okay, let me end with this last one lah. Okay, solve the equation 3 times 7 to the power x equals to 65. Okay, 3 times 7 to the power x equals to 65. Now, one of the biggest clues that they will tell you is round off to 3 significant figures, which means kamu punya jawapan akhir, which is x equals to entah ini kan, okay, is going to have decimal places. Now, when there is a decimal place indicated inside your question, and it is an index question, this is an index question lah, okay, if you think about it, okay, you will need to use log. Okay, you have to convert to log. I can't see any way out of this now. So what you do is you log both sides. So log 10 and log 10 over here. Okay, 3 times 7 to the power x equals to log 10, 65. Okay, and what happens over here is these two can be separated. So log 10, 3 plus log 10, 7 to the power x equals to log 10, 65. Okay, and then we use the third law. Okay, hukum ketiga, this one. You see the power over here? We can bring the power in front. And so what will happen is you will get x log 10(7) plus log 10(3) equals to log 10(65). Okay. Now, how do we find the x? Kita pindahlah macam biasa. Okay, we will get x log 10(7) equals to log 10(65) minus log 10(3). And this x log 10(7) sebenarnya adalah darab makan. So this one we can bring across. So you get x equals to log 10(65) minus log 10(3) over log 10(7). And you will have your answer. Okay, because we have no time, so the answer is 1.58. Okay, three significant figures, 1.58. Tiga angka bererti. Okay, one thing to note, and this one, anybody that does teknik menjawab will tell you lah, if the question say three significant figures, and let's say you count and then you get 1.5847. Okay, dan kau tinggalkan jawapan begitu you will be penalized 1 mark lah. Memang kau akan kena tolak 1 markah because the question asks for three significant figures. Hold on, question asks for three significant figures and you go and give answer that is not kau tidak ikut kehendak soalan. So memang kamu akan kena tolak markah. Okay, so whenever you answer exam, it's a good idea to be aware of how many decimal places because sometimes the question will ask you. Okay, the questions will tell you how many significant figures, how many tempat perpuluhan yang kamu perlu letakkan jawapan. If there is none, and this is most of the time lah, okay, macam mana kalau tiada tempat perpuluhan diberi, okay? Let's use this because everybody keeps asking me this on separate occasions, and and I always find that I always forget my answer. So we standardize this lah. Okay, kalau dia adalah decimal place, 3 decimal place. Okay, 3 decimal place for the final answer. Okay, 3 decimal place for the final answer. But if it is a probability, you know when we did probability distributions? Yeah, so probability distributions usually is 4 decimal place because in your table is 4 decimal place. Okay, so for me, okay, 3 decimal place, 4 decimal place, okay. Okay, 2 decimal place, saya tidak terima. Unless really jawapannya adalah 2 decimal place. Okay, then saya tidak terima. Okay, kalau soalannya betul-betul 2 decimal place, then saya terima lah. Tapi kalau ada lebih daripada itu, dan kau bundarkan pergi 2 tempat perpuluhan saja, saya tidak terima. If you want to bundarkan to 3 or to 4. Okay, saya pernah tanya seorang guru, dia cakap, apa salahnya kalau kamu tulis semua 10 tempat perpuluhan? Dan saya pun, ya actually betul lah kan, kalau kau tulis semua 10 pun, it's actually more accurate. Okay, but it's very suffering lah. Kau tulis sampai habis. Okay, so if you want to bundarkan to 3 or to 4. Unless the question tells you otherwise. Okay, kalau tiada arahan daripada soalan, pastikan kamu gunakan to 3 or 4 decimal places. Some teachers will tell you 3 significant figures or 4 significant figures. Pun boleh lah kalau kamu mau lah. Okay, also can. But I usually prefer decimal places. It's a little bit more accurate at times. Okay, all right. I will see you on Wednesday. We will continue discussing this paper. But okay, like this. Since Desina has already posted the starter pack, okay, sorry, she has already pinned the starter pack. Okay, what you do is this lah, you go through this paper 1 within this 1 or 2 days lah. Okay, you go through this paper 1 and bila kamu menjawab, bahkan if you find that you're stuck at the question and you want me to discuss that question in our Wednesday class, then you make a request. Okay, you say, sir, on Wednesday, can you please discuss this question? Okay, then I will discuss this question. If not, I'm just going to continue that paper 1 with question number 4, question number 5, dan seterusnya lah. Okay, so if there is a request to answer a certain question, then saya akan layan permintaan itu dahulu lah. Okay, but if there's no request, I'm just going to start with question number 4 on Wednesday. So if you want to request for a question to be answered, okay, give me the request. Try it out first. Always try it out first on your own. Okay, and then we will discuss it.